mistake. War is coming. With all its glory. And all its horror. Mr. Findley, your freedom awaits.
Hell, it's about time.
It is about time, and StarCraft II has finally arrived. Before we begin, I'd like to make one thing perfectly clear. This game is flat out amazing. This is quite possibly the best Blizzard game to date, and it definitely earns its place as one of the top real-time strategy games of all time. The depth of management and storytelling is unprecedented, and the style in which the game progresses through its cutscenes and extremely varied missions is unlike anything you've seen in the genre. So without further ado, this is Intense Gaming TV's review of StarCraft II.
Good. About time we kick this revolution into overdrive.
Let's start out with the basics. The visuals in this title are definitely top-notch, and by far the best we've seen from Blizzard in their long and pleasant history. This makes sense, seeing as how aside from their successful MMO franchise, World of Warcraft, which was built to run on a wide range of PCs, their last game release dates all the way back to 2003. These days, games are expected to meet certain visual requirements, and while StarCraft II isn't sporting the same kind of post-processing and hardware-raping visuals that some of the latest shooters are, it definitely makes the mark, and stands neck and neck with them as far as visual presentation and art direction are concerned. The 3D models are rendered excellently, and the in-game cutscenes are absolutely breathtaking. The amount of time and effort that went into making this game definitely shows in every aspect, not just the visuals.
Cutting it pretty close there, Matt.
Never left you hanging before, sir.
Fair enough. Just get us the hell out of here.
All batteries, concentrate forward firepower. Spin up drives 2 and 6. All hands brace for warp jump on my mark. Mark.
Aside from the core gameplay which you'll experience during the missions, StarCraft II changes things quite a bit, not just for the series but for every real-time strategy game out there. You play as Jim Raynor, an ex-marshal who joined up with the Sons of Korhal back in StarCraft I. 4 years have passed since the events of the StarCraft expansion pack Brood War, and Jim is now fighting against the Emperor Menx and his oppressive Dominion. After a brief intro and 1 or 2 simple startup missions, you find yourself on a ship with a crew, more or less. This is where the new aspects of the game come into full swing. There are 4 sections of your ship. 2 are initially locked, but they quickly unlock, allowing you full access to the entire rig. The areas consist of the armory, the bridge, the cantina, and the laboratory. Each level of the ship contains upgrades and new units that will drastically improve your forces as the game progresses. From the armory, you can upgrade your units with things like stim packs, extra health, and more powerful ammo. Some of the upgrades carry over from the first game. The difference is that once you buy them on the ship, they are permanent, and your units will always have them. The same goes for all the other upgrades around the ship. In the cantina, you can purchase squads of mercenaries that you can call in for a small amount of resources during combat. These squads consist of slightly more powerful versions of units that you already have, and drop down ready to use instantly, making them very useful in tight spots. In the laboratory, you can use your research points that you collect on missions to better ready your forces against the Zerg and the Protoss. Everything from building strength to unit firepower can be upgraded here, but there's a catch. Each research tree has 2 options for the corresponding level of research points you have collected, and you can only choose one. Once you have chosen one of the 2 items, that part of the tree becomes locked, and you have to keep moving up. Aside from buying mercs, upgrading your base and your units, each area of the ship contains squad mates that are happy to talk to you between missions. I have to say I like the cantina area the best. It comes complete with its own arcade game called Lost Viking, which is actually pretty fun. In addition to the arcade game, the cantina is where you can catch surprisingly funny news segments that play on the television. Last but not least is the bridge. This is the command center. From here you can watch previous cinematics and replay missions you've completed. This is also where you launch new missions from the galaxy map. The missions in StarCraft II are extremely varied. You've got your traditional mission structures like time test and enemy elimination, but you won't see much of them. No two missions I've played have been the same. The story will have you gathering significant items one day and destroying moving trains the next. The sheer amount of things to do in the campaign makes the game so addictive, I had a lot of trouble pulling myself away to make this review. And trust me, as soon as it's finished, I'm going back for more. It isn't just the varied mission structure that makes the core gameplay so great. It's the intense action you would expect from a Blizzard RTS. The unit AI is outstanding and the combat is a total blast. It's pretty streamlined, so you can easily play with just a mouse and rarely touch the keyboard, or you can hotkey your way to a swift and brutal victory. Fighting is intense and the battles are satisfying. The sound design is excellent and makes the combat that much more exciting. Anyone who played StarCraft or any of the Warcraft games should have a good handle on what to do once in a mission. You have a base, you gather resources constantly, and you build units. One key difference I noticed with StarCraft II is, because of the permanent upgrade system on your ship, the buildings that increase armor and weapon damage temporarily during missions sort of fall to the sidelines, and unless you're on the hardest difficulty, they really aren't that necessary. Aside from this minor imbalance, the game plays as smooth as they come, and the units have been so finely tuned by years of development and months of beta testing that it's hard to complain. Now, if you played the StarCraft II beta, you won't be surprised by the multiplayer. Blizzard's overhaul to Battle.net is evident, but the way in which you play multiplayer isn't all that different from the original StarCraft. The main difference is the new achievement system they've put in place, which in most cases makes the game extremely competitive, which is a downside and kind of a disappointment for casual gamers. It's good fun, and the matchmaking works, but it's not where the game really shines. I could go on and on about the quality and breadth of this game, but in order to fully experience it, you simply have to play it. Blizzard has set a $60 asking price for the game, which is a bit steep in my opinion, but it is worth it. There's so much to do here that if you don't spend at least 50 hours playing the game, I will be very surprised. In summary, StarCraft II is the new bar for real-time strategy games everywhere, with its unique storytelling and take on gameplay, the most balanced fighting you've seen in a Blizzard game to date, and some multiplayer that's no slouch either, even if it is a bit more welcoming to the hardened veterans of Battle.net. I award StarCraft II a 9.5 out of 10, and say that if you have any doubts about getting this game, erase them forever and buy it. Thanks for watching Intense Gaming TV. My name is Ian Jones, and this was our review of StarCraft II. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out our links in the description.